Good morning, viewers, and welcome to AAU Talks here on AAU TV. And my name is Kwesi Sam. I am your host for this morning's segment on the AAU Talks. This morning we'll be having a series of discussions, and the first one has to do with the higher education space in the Northern Africa. And we have in the studio two distinguished professors from Ain Shams University and the director of ICT and Knowledge Management Services here at the Association of African Universities. We are together going to look at the higher education space in the Northern Africa. Specifically, we'll look at Ain Shams University and then also look at the AAU strategy of setting up a Northern African office to spearhead the activities of the association. And be reminded that you are just joined in, and this is AAU Talks on AAU TV. You can follow us on our Facebook pages, that is Association of African Universities. You can also join us via Twitter by using our AAU handle, AAU_67. All right. So I would just go in straight to introduce my guest, and the first to be introduced is Professor Mohamed Sherif Al-Kotb. And Professor Mohamed Sherif Al-Kotb is a professor of semiconductor physics and devices in Ain Shams University. You are welcome, Prof.
Welcome.
Great. Next to Prof, we have the Director for ICT Services and Knowledge Management and Corporate Communications here at the Association of African Universities in the person of Ms. Nodumo Dhlamini. Ms. Nodumo, you are welcome.
Thank you, Kwesi.
Great. And the last but not the least of my guests to be introduced to you this morning, he is also an associate professor of neurology and then the director of Ain Shams Virtual Hospital. And he is in the person of Professor Tamer Emara. Great.
Nice to meet you.
So my wonderful guests, you are welcome to the AAU Talks.
Thank you, Kwesi.
Great. And I hope you are doing well.
You do.
Fine, fine.
Great. So in Arabic language, we'll say Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
That's wonderful. And then how will you say that in Zimbabwe?
When you are greeting
somebody?
In my language, you say salibonani.
Okay. And how do you respond?
That is Ndebele. You say yebo.
Oh, yes. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are welcome to the AAU Talks. And then today we are looking at the higher education space in the Northern Africa, and most especially the AAU's vision of setting up a regional office in the Northern Africa to make sure that our activities and then our projects and our plans for the entire continent is really visible in the Northern Africa. And then we'll also be looking at Ain Shams University specifically, and then look at the opportunities that exist for the entire continent. So let me start with you, Ms. Nodumo Dhlamini. Why the establishment of the regional office in the Northern Africa and specifically Ain Shams University?
Thank you, Kwesi. I think what we've realized is that the impact of the AAU is limited by the fact that we are covering the whole continent, but we don't have a presence in the 5 regions where we operate. So it has become important for us to ensure that we are visible, we link better to our member universities, we collaborate with the governments in the different regions, and basically create more value for the members of the AAU. So the decentralization strategy is meant to help us have more impact at a regional level.
Okay, that's brilliant. So is the Northern Africa the first to be established?
No, we've recently established the East Africa Regional Office at the University of Khartoum in Sudan. So this will be the second office to be launched.
Great. So why Khartoum? Any specific reason?
Khartoum is where the conversations about the Association of African Universities began. So it was found to be an appropriate university to host the regional office because that's where the conversations began.
Okay.
And then in Egypt, if I may also explain, Ain Shams University in Cairo in Egypt is one of the first members of AAU. There were 34 member universities that established the AAU, and Ain Shams is one of them. It has been a member of the association for 51 years, loyally paying membership subscriptions.
Okay.
So that is why we are going to Egypt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So let me come to Professor Sherif. So, Prof, what would be the most significant thing for Ain Shams University hosting the regional office?
Well, first let me thank you to give me this opportunity to thank Professor Ehili and his team to invite us to come here and talk about our collaboration to establish the North Regional Office in Ain Shams University. Ain Shams University, from his name, in our ancient language, you can say it Ber Ankh Ono. This is a pharaoh name.
Right.
And it means city of the knowledge or city of the life. As well as, if you know the meaning of Africa, Africa means mother of land, or you can say cradle of life or cradle of humankind.
Okay.
That's why this marriage between Ain Shams University and the AAU, I guess we will have a bright future to enhance and foster more activities to grow our economics in a good way.
Okay. All right, then let me come to you, Professor Tamer. How long has Ain Shams University been in existence, and what is the vision for Ain Shams University?
Well, the official launch of Ain Shams University was back in 1950.
1950?
Yes, although many faculties started before that, even in the 19th century, some of them, but the official launch was in 1950. And then it gradually grew into a 17 faculty university with lots of other units and research units and specialized units. For the Faculty of Medicine, for example, we have almost 35 departments with lots of sub-specialization in each department, covering most of the medical specialties that do exist. And we also help maybe 1.5 million patients every year.
Okay, so we'll come into the details, but you know, when you look at our universities, every university has a purpose for its establishment, and then they have their niche. So when you are talking about Ain Shams University, Professor Sherif,
well, I can tell you the vision of Ain Shams University for 5 next years.
Okay.
Our vision is innovation, education, to help the community to grow more faster.
Great. So let's go deeper into your student population. How many students do you have?
Well, let me give you some statistics about Ain Shams University. Ain Shams University has 200,000 undergraduate students. 200,000? 200,000. And 35,000 postgraduate students.
Okay.
Plus 30,000 long life learning students.
That is what we call the distance learning,
distance
right?
learning.
Okay.
So you can say that Ain Shams University, his population about 300,000. And Ain Shams forms from 8 campuses in different areas. Some campus closer to the headquarters of the university, and some far from the headquarters of the university. We have 19 faculty and institutions. We have 14,000 faculty members.
14,000?
Cover more than 400 academic areas. Ain Shams award bachelor degree and master PhD. You can say that we have in bachelor degree, we have more than 220 degrees.
Wow, that is a huge university. Is it the biggest university in Northern Africa or in Egypt? Let's be specific.
In Egypt, except Al-Azhar University, we will say that it will be the first or the second after Cairo University.
Wow, that's amazing. Let me come to the faculty and the faculties that you have. So you made mention that you have 19 faculties. So can you just run us through the faculties that you have and then the statistics also?
Yeah, I can tell you about medical school, as Professor Tamer said. Medical school has 35 departments.
35?
With 6,000 faculty members. It has also 13 hospitals with 4,000 active beds. They help more than 2 million patients per year. This is medical school. Engineering, faculty of engineering, has 1,000 faculty members. Cover all the areas of the engineers. Also, we have Faculty of Science. Faculty of Science has 5,000 students, almost 1,000 faculty members. They work in different fields such as physics, chemistry, biochemistry, botany, zoology, geology, geophysics, biophysics. Yeah.
Okay. Now let me come into infrastructure, because looking at the numbers that you are mentioning, 300,000 student capacity university, and then also you have 14,000 faculty members. Yeah. Then let's look at infrastructure. Do you really have the adequate infrastructure to take care of the number of students that you have?
As I told you before, a medical school has 13 hospitals. So these hospitals fully equipped and has a lot of facilities. They have more than 10 accredited clinical pathology labs. And this is a huge number. If you are talking about Faculty of Science, as I told you also, we have more advanced labs in this field. Especially in physics, we have nano lab. We are working in micro Raman lab. We're talking about DC conductivity and fabricate some devices such as the diode, something like that. So we have a lot of facilities at Ain Shams University.
Then you made mention of your women's faculty.
Yeah. Before our interview, you asked me about Faculty of Women in Ain Shams University, and this is the only university in Egypt
that has a faculty
all the
for
students,
women.
all females. Yeah.
Wow.
All the student females studied different areas in education, science, and art.
Okay. Then, Professor Tamer, let me ask the statistics in terms of gender. The ratio of men to women in Ain Shams, is it on the same sheet, or the men are more than the women as usual, or the women outweighs the men?
Actually, at least in scientific fields, we have more women students and postgrads now than men. The ratio is around 75%.
Of women?
Yeah.
Yes.
Than men?
Yes.
Why is it so?
Well, it's an interesting observation. We can only speculate the cause.
Then, Ms. Nodumo, I think this is good news for.
Yes.
I think it's the first example we are hearing.
I'm clapping my hands.
Most of the universities, the men outweighs the.
Yes, I think
women.
we need to learn from Egypt. I also got to know it's a similar trend in Sudan. And I remember someone explaining that women seem to have more time and dedication to do school. the men were eager to finish school, get jobs and
take
provide,
care of the women.
provide for their families.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's true. But
okay.
Yeah.
But comparing that to the other regions of Africa, you have worked in the space for over 20 years.
Yes.
What do you think may be some of the reasons that those of us in the South, then the West and the East, we don't find a lot of women in the hard science as compared to what they are sharing with us in Egypt?
I think it's a problem related to mentorship. It's a problem related to socialization.
Okay.
It's a problem related to if your parents yourself are not educated, then they cannot inspire you. And the way that we raise the boy child compared to how we raise the girl child. We need to see a situation where, for example, if the car in the family is down, the father should call the female child and say, let's go and check the car out. But you'll find the girl will stay in the house and do things that girls should be doing. If a bulb in the house is to blow up, the natural instinct is to say the boy must fix it. But we need to change and bring up these children to believe they can do the same things. I'm not saying girls become boys, boys become girls, but in terms of the equal opportunities.
To all of them.
Yes, please.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me ask from you, Professor Sherif, what could be accounting for this? Why did you have the vision of setting up a whole faculty for women? Was there the need for it? Was there a drive for it? What really accounted for it?
I will tell you, Faculty of Women found at 1947. And at that time, there the thoughts about separate girls away from boys. That's why they established this faculty as this way.
Okay.
But now, if you are visiting this faculty, and it's not far from the headquarters of Ain Shams University, you will see most of the students females, but the faculty member male and females. And there is no separation between the male faculty member and the female student. They interact directly. There is no sheet or barrier between them, such as in some neighbors' country.
Okay. And even in Azhar University, for example, they have medical schools just for women, and then there's also another medical school for men. Professor Tamer, that is correct, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Then, so in terms of the content for the males and the females, is it the same, or there is a different specialty that the women are looking at, and then the men also?
Do you mean that our medical school has separation between male and females?
No, you know this culture, it exists also in Azhar University.
In Azhar University, it is a special case.
A special case,
because it's mainly teach Islamic studies.
Okay.
Okay, but in Ain Shams University, it is a modern university. So most of faculties, except Faculty of Women, are a mixture from male and females.
Okay.
And they enrolled in any field.
Okay.
Nothing specific for women or nor men.
Okay. All right. So viewers, if you are tuned in, this is AAU Talks on AAU TV. And this morning we are looking at the higher education space in Northern Africa, specifically in Ain Shams University, Cairo. And then also we are looking at the establishment of the AAU's regional office in the Ain Shams University, Cairo. Remember that you can join the conversation by just logging into our social media platforms on the using our the handle for AAU Twitter, that is AAU_67, and also our Facebook page as Association of African Universities. I have in the studio Professor Tamer, Professor Sherif, and Ms. Nodumo Dhlamini, and we'll be moving straight into higher education space in Northern Africa. But let me come to you, Professor Tamer, because we need to look at the medical school that you run. and then the opportunities that exist. You made mention of the fact that you have 13 hospitals that are being manned by the university. Can you share with us the specialty? Do you look at all medical conditions, and then is it accessible to the entire population of Egypt? And what are is it free? What is the range of people who can visit the hospital?
Well, first let me clarify that I'm not running the hospitals.
Okay.
I'm just working there, and I have.
All right.
But for that big space, it's mainly public hospitals, except 2 or 3 hospitals that are private.
Okay.
Our catchment area is actually the whole country, and at many times you get patients from different countries because the breadth of services in Ain Shams University hospitals is enormous. We cover all medical specialties from minor procedures to advanced transplantation surgeries.
Okay.
And sophisticated neurosurgical or neurological problems. Sometimes patients come because they're not diagnosed elsewhere, so they need a proper diagnosis, or they need a specific management or interventions that needs certain kind of expertise that we provide.
Okay.
So it's a responsibility because the catchment area is that big.
Big. Okay.
Yes, Egypt is a big country, but we get patients from all over the country.
All right. So there's no need to fly a patient out of Egypt. If you need to do kidney transplants, liver transplants, everything is done in Ain Shams University.
Everything can be done, yes, at Ain Shams University. That's true.
Okay. And then in terms of the student training, you have
Our faculty members are around 5,000 to 6,000.
For the medical school alone?
For the medical school alone, yes. And they cover many medical specialties and teaching activities in addition to taking care of patients and doing research. This huge pool of human resources is available to our students to tap into their experiences, to selectively choose a mentor to get some kind of specialized training that may help a certain student doing a certain project, maybe back in his governorate in Egypt or in another country.
Okay, let me come to you, Prof Sherif. We want to look at the funding opportunities for the students in Ain Shams University and Egypt in general. You have 300,000 students. Do you have the cases where some students struggle financially, or in Shams the fees are waived for all the students? How is your funding like?
Well, Egyptian constitutions have an article that education should be free.
For every Egyptian?
For every Egyptian, it's free. So the Egyptian didn't pay a lot of money to get the education. I can tell you in undergrad in any university of Egypt, a public university in Egypt, because as you know we have 26 public university and we have 25 private university. In the public university, all the student undergrad, the tuition fee almost is about $30 per year.
$30?
Yeah.
Per year?
Per year.
For every field of study?
For every student.
No, let me take that again. Even for medical school?
Even of medical school and engineering too. Yeah.
$30
per year. For Egyptian.
I need to change my nationality. I'll happily
that
be
sounds
an Egyptian.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so it means that education is free right from basic to...
From primary school till higher, to university.
First degree. Or even to masters if you want to do PhD?
Master, it is not, a little bit expensive.
Okay.
In terms of dollar, it will be from $100 to $150 per year.
$150 per year?
Yeah. For master and the PhD.
That is not even expensive. Because for us in Ghana, we pay as much as, let's say, $5,000 for just a master's degree. And we may even have some undergraduate programs that are as high as $10,000 in some of our private universities and public universities.
Yeah, but now let me tell you something. In Ain Shams University and the other public university, they established new programs.
Okay.
And these new programs, they said distinguished programs. It is multidisciplinary programs, such as renewable energy in Faculty of Engineering. They teach in this program mechanical department, electrical department, and the other department in the faculty. And this will be, I guess, more than $30 per year.
Okay.
Especially these programs, as I told you, it's about, in Egyptian pound, it will be 40,000 Egyptian pound.
Okay. And how much will it be in the
and dollars divided by 17.
17. Okay. That's fantastic. But I am so much amazed, because if I can attend a medical school and pay just $30, it's really amazing, Miss Nodumo.
Oh, I can't believe it. I'm thinking I should have relocated to Egypt some years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, life would have been easier, because higher education is very costly. Yeah, in Zimbabwe, where I come from, also is very costly. Many students who are not so privileged are not able to attain. Yes.
Okay. Let me come to you, Professor Tamer. Looking at the fees the students pay and the kind of quality services that you render, do you have other streams of funding to kind of augment or support what the government is providing?
Well, this is a work in progress all the time to mobilize more resources.
Okay.
Because we have a good infrastructure, but it's never enough.
Okay.
You always want better, newer technologies. Life changed, things changed, so forth. So the current administration in the Faculty of Medicine is doing an amazing effort to secure additional funds from working with NGOs, civil society, other forms of corporates who would be happy to provide more funding to ensure this work that we are doing continues in the same quality and even improve over time. Because sometimes you have problems when you have a hospital that is too old.
Yes.
So you want to renovate it all the time to maintain your standards. You can't just be satisfied with what you have.
Yeah.
So yes, a lot of effort is being done in this direction.
That's wonderful. So apart from the hospitals that you run under your medical school, are there other enterprises that are being run by the university?
Well, about the hospitals especially, we have two sources for fund. Source coming from the government, from the university, and the others coming from donations.
All right.
From some banks, such as the National Bank in Egypt, Bank Masr in Egypt. We have several ways to get the donations to go to the hospitals.
Okay. All right. Then let's look at another crucial area where graduates who churn out of our universities are mostly seen as having mixed match in terms of skill, and so they come out of school and then they are not employable. Is that the same case in Northern Africa, specifically in Shams? Are your graduates employable? We are looking at the unemployment rate in Egypt.
We have, such as any country all over the world, we have employment. But you know, the ratio, it get smaller, especially for some graduate student in some fields, such as engineering, all of them working. The same in computer science, the same in medicine, and pharmacy, and dental, the same. But let me tell you that we have some employment graduated from some faculties, such as Faculty of Arts, especially European Civilization Department. You know, this is very specific topic. So it's not easy to get a job if you are graduate from this department.
Okay, that's amazing. Now, if I am from other part of the continent, and I would want to come to Ain Shams University to pursue higher education, how difficult or how easy will it be for me? Let me get to Professor Tamer.
It shouldn't be difficult.
Okay.
There is a clear pathway that goes through the Egyptian Supreme University Council.
Okay.
Moving to the university that you choose. Of course, they have to revise your paperwork, your certificates, and so forth, but this is a kind of a routine step. And if everything is in place, it should be easy to get your place.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, how many international students do you have?
5,000.
5,000 international students?
5,000.
Coming from all over Africa?
Not all over Africa, mostly coming from Sudan, Somalia, and the rest are coming from Gulf countries.
Okay. And outside Africa, do you have some European?
A little.
A little?
Germany, especially from Germany and Italy, we have. Let me remember well. From Portugal, we have student and teachers. From Germany, we have a student and teacher.
Okay.
But it's a very interesting observation we have in Ain Shams University that we have German students in Faculty of Engineering. They're studying European and design.
So that means you have all the logistics just as the German universities would have?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Then instead of going to Germany to do engineering, I can come to
now you know the concept of internationalization. Let all the people get mobilized to go to some places in different countries. We have a 12 joint degree program between Ain Shams University and the 26 universities in European Union.
Okay.
That's why let the mobility between the students get high.
All right. Then let me come to Professor Tamer. Looking at the student ratio that you have and the industries that exist in the medical field in Cairo, do you have other hospitals that come to you for some kind of training? Do you have some of them coming to you for collaboration and things of that nature?
Yes. Sometimes private universities do not have a very big hospital that offers this multitude of medical experiences. So sometimes for their clinical training, they would come to Ain Shams or other big universities in Egypt to get this kind of training. This is inside Egypt.
Okay. Then you are the director for the virtual university, and I understand you have a concept of telemedicine. Can you share with us the concept and what are the innovative things you are doing under that umbrella?
Yes. So we have this body, we call it the Ain Shams Virtual Hospital.
Okay.
The concept is with this large workforce of staff, especially in the School of Medicine, we thought that there may be ways to have this experience translated and replicated in other places.
Okay.
You can't move this large number of staff members to other places. Everyone wants to stay next to his lab, next to his students.
Okay.
But technology can help you transfer this experience. It saves money, it saves time. So the concept of the virtual hospital, we call it treat and teach.
Okay.
The problem in healthcare in Africa specifically is beyond doubt. According to numbers, Africa has 15% of the world population, but 24% of the disease burden in Africa, right?
Yes.
And the ratio of healthcare workers in Africa is 3% of the workforce in the world. So the gap is huge, right? So it made some sense to us that we can use our experiences, the experience of our staff, we can mobilize it to help other services to improve. Now the point is healthcare funding for Africa is a continuous stream. Many organizations are helping, but the impact is there, but it's not as much as we would expect. That's why the Treat and Teach initiative is not looking into giving experience or helping treating patients, but we help develop new services. So, for example, a new ICU. And then we train the local staff to run this ICU. And then with time, they don't need us anymore. So now you have a sustainable development. But we don't go and see 100 or even 1,000 patients, then leave either via telemedicine or via an on-site visit, because what we do is that we blend. You can't have medical education 100% online. It doesn't make much sense. But if 60% of it is online, then you have saved a lot of money, time and effort, and made it easy, made it accessible, and made it scalable as well. So that's.
So if there is a hospital in Ghana and would want to train their staff, be the nurses, the physician assistants or doctors, it means that they can still stay in Ghana and then have some courses under your virtual hospital, and at the end of the day, it is just as exactly they coming to Egypt to study.
Yes, but instead of coming for 3 years, they come for 3 months.
3 months, okay.
So instead of sending 2, you can send 10.
Yes.
But we usually start with a problem. So we don't say, hey, we'll work with this hospital and we'll improve this hospital. No, but we start with the problem. So this hospital needs
a psychiatrist.
A psychiatrist service. So where are your psychiatry patients, and where are the trainees who are interested to become your future psychiatrists? Because this is the key to sustainability. I'm not here to do the job for you. I'm here just to facilitate for a short period of time until you can do it yourself. So one of our prerequisites is to have enough junior graduates who are interested in becoming the local champions in this field. So and what we do is that we empower them. That's basically the concept.
That's very innovative. But let's look at costing and funding also. Is it too costly for a hospital outside Egypt, let's say Ghana, to enter into partnership with you?
It shouldn't be costly, because the thing is, you get your service up and running before you finish your training. So to be more elaborative about the concept, we work with a hospital in Ghana to start a psychiatry service. Right? So maybe after a few maybe 2 or 3 months of online training, and then I would say another 2 or 3 months of on-site training in Ain Shams, we can get the service up and running back in your hospital in Ghana. And we supervise by telemedicine, so we make sure that the service is provided in a good way. Within the next 2 or 3 years, your students will complete their master degrees in Ain Shams. But the service has already been running for 2 years. It's covering part of the expenses, right? These guys are turning into leaders in their space. So they have the motivation and interest to continue. And more interesting, and more importantly, they would not leave Ghana, because what happens in Ghana and in Egypt, when people go train in Germany, they stay in Germany. You don't want this to happen, right? Because this is a complete waste of resources. Not a complete, I mean, they have, of course, a certain value, but I mean, you don't want it to be that way. You want to decrease the brain drain. So,
so is it not open to the entire world, anyone, anywhere, or is
we're very flexible in the entire world and the entire field of medical specialties. We don't say we work on orthopedics or in psychiatry only.
Of the various fields.
Yeah, we say, well, tell us your problem.
I think that's great. But as an individual, can I just partner with you if I'm a student in Ghana and I would want to upgrade my knowledge? Can I come directly, or it must be through an institution? So
it's different. If you're an individual, our online trainings are open for everyone. So we have institutions logging in via inter-institutional partnerships, but then they're open also for individuals. There is a course currently running. It's open for everyone. So you can attend the online courses, but obviously we cannot upgrade your ICU unless there's an inter-institutional agreement. But you can upgrade your knowledge through online courses, and then you can also come and visit us for a degree, as a person, and we're coming up with new degrees that have this blend. So regardless of the institution, you can still have, say, 50-50 on-site, online workload as a medical student, for example, in certain medical specialties.
Okay, all right. Let me come to you, Prof. You are also the director for Center for Innovations for the Ain Shams University. What are some of the innovations that you are embarking on at the university?
You know, innovation, it is a word coming from different universities in other international countries, such as MIT in the United States, Max Planck in Germany. Now we are working in Ain Shams University to promote this concept through our undergrad students. So we have some courses for innovation and entrepreneurship. Plus we have some training courses, how to write a project, how to make electronic marketing. All of this to let the student to create their job. She or he can create a job.
Okay.
So the government will not give everyone a job. But now the concept is to change in Ain Shams University.
Okay.
So I will try to let our student to create the job.
All right, that's good. So Ms. Nodumo, looking at the partnership that we are having with Ain Shams University, most especially establishing the regional office, what should the entire continent be looking up to? What are the opportunities that will come out of the regional office in Northern Africa for the entire continent?
For the entire continent, we are looking forward to enhancing regional mobility. We look forward to more students coming from Southern Africa, Eastern, Central, West, going to learn in Egypt. We are looking forward to sharing resources and sharing human resources. Professors, experienced professors coming from Egypt, going to teach on short term in other universities in the region, and also other professors from Southern Africa and East Africa going to Northern Africa to teach. Because I think at the AAU we've been talking a lot together with the African Union about using education to bring the continent
the integration
together.
Agenda.
The integration agenda will not move unless and until people start moving from one region to the other. We actually visualize a situation where 100 students will come from the south and go to universities in North Africa. 100 students from North Africa move to East Africa. 100 students from East Africa, maybe 1,000 even. So that we really move this agenda of bringing the continent together. But also in terms of research, we look forward to collaborations in research. Let's say maybe there's a problem in Zimbabwe. Can we get researchers in that area looking at the problem from the different perspective? What have they learned about it in North Africa? The same problem. What has been learned about the same problem in West Africa? How can we bring these people together so that then we understand what works in the continent? Yes.
But looking at the space, you know, you already have 300,000 students. Do you still have more space for international students?
Yeah, we have. We have more. But let me add something to Mrs. Nodumo. The challenges facing Egypt almost the same as any challenges facing any African country. So if we're talking about the capacity of Ain Shams University, I will tell you something, that we have tropical disease department and faculty of medicine, as well as department in faculty of science. They're working about the tropical disease. So they're working in this field almost now 50 years.
All right.
So they have a lot of data, they have a lot of theories. So now we need to establish new concept in our continent, that we have co-financial account between Egypt and AAU, for example, or African Union, or any other organization can fund such a kind of project. And this project will be not only between Egypt and African countries, but from all the North universities to other part of the continent. So I can work, I wish that I can come to teach in Ghana.
Okay.
And almost I would like to invite a professor from Ghana to teach in Ain Shams University.
Okay.
It's now, this is easy in Ain Shams University because we are already do it with Arabian universities.
Okay.
I can invite a professor from Spain, and I did that, to teach our student e-marketing. And I plan for more professor coming from Europe. But now when I came to Ghana, I wish that I can invite some professor from Ghana to teach in our university in some areas. And also I wish that Dr. Tamer, for example, because he has very brilliant idea about the telemedicine and how can to improve the health services in any place. And this is a problem, not only in Africa, but almost all over the world. So now I can invite Dr. Tamer to any faculty here to introduce his idea to strengthen the bond between the student in medical school in any country in Africa to his program in Ain Shams University. This will be great if we are working under the umbrella of project, because we have a lot of problems, and the innovation solution is coming from African mind. We will not use any foreign idea. We need our solution, our own solution.
Homegrown solutions,
Yeah.
exactly. All right. I think let me congratulate you, Ms. Nodumo, and the entire AAU team, the governing board, for this brilliant idea of setting up regional offices across the various regions of Africa to better collaborate and then also make sure we work together to achieve the integration agenda, because I think this is a step in the right direction.
It is, certainly, Kwesi. I think going forward to the next 50 years of the AAU, would like to really strengthen the collaboration among African universities. And I think education is a great way to achieve long-lasting relationships. Because when people learn together, people research together, there will even be peace in Africa. Some of the people who learn together might be leading institutions and countries and making decisions for the continent. But if I know I have a colleague in Tunisia that I went to school with, and there's maybe a problem, colleague to colleague will be able to solve many of the problems that we can't now. Because we know each other.
So then let me ask, your mode of tuition, is it specifically the language? Is it in Arabic? Is it in English? Is it in English?
It's the language of teaching in Ain Shams University.
Yes.
And all scientific faculties, English language.
Okay.
But other faculties, such as Faculty of Languages, between brackets Al-Alsun, they have 26 languages. Especially Swahili language, because they have Swahili department in Faculty of Languages. And Faculty of Art, we have language. Yeah, so we have several languages, but mostly in humanities sector, Arabic language.
Arabic, So Dr. Tamer, you have much more space to accommodate a lot of students in the medical field. All right, so this is your camera. Just tell the entire continent the opportunities that exist in your medical school, and then how many students can take advantage of this opportunity.
Well, we are definitely welcoming students at the undergrad and postgrad levels, whether to join our on-site programs or to join us virtually online in our activities.
Okay.
I think we'll be working with the AAU closely to advertise this to all member institutions. Also, we are welcoming an interinstitutional agreements.
Okay.
Because as part of the virtual hospital program, we are not only looking into the number of students that we are training, although this is important, but we are looking at the impact these students are actually achieving on the ground.
Okay.
So with both ways, we of course welcoming students. Having an online program make the numbers not really very important.
All right.
Because we can connect with everyone. And also our on-site campus is huge. You should come and visit. So we don't have a big problem with numbers, believe me.
Okay, that's great. Ms. Nodumo,
yes.
This is the continent for you.
Yeah.
What should we expect from AAU and then Northern African Regional Office, which will be hosted by Ain Shams University?
We will be reaching out to our member universities to introduce the Northern Africa Regional Office, and we call on our vice chancellors, our deans, our researchers, our potential students in Africa to take up the opportunities to collaborate more closely, to go and learn about North Africa, get an opportunity to learn Arabic and make friends. So most of the time when we send out these opportunities to collaborate, we find that people are hesitant, maybe because they don't know anybody. But through the AAU, we are able to connect people. So if there are universities out there looking for ways to collaborate in North Africa, with North Africa, you can reach us at AAU and we can make those connections.
Okay,
yes.
So we'll get back to you when we are establishing the third regional office, which
yes.
will be in the south or?
Yeah, possibly in the south. Yes,
okay.
yeah, possibly in the south.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Dr. Sherif, your final words to the entire continent. What should we be expecting from Ain Shams University? And then, especially out of this collaboration of establishing the regional office in North Africa?
You know, I can start is that I have a dream.
Sure.
And my dream is that all the young people in the continent work on strengthening the bond between them.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of challenge in future. So the education is the only way to solve our problems, to improve our skills, to let the future more happier than now. That's I wish to work at AAU, work on strengthening the network between the faculty members all over the continent. Because if we have a good connections between faculty member and all over the continent, so you will have more innovative solution that let the life of the people in Africa will be more easier and happier. We will have more result from this routine if we are working on it, especially that we will stop immigration from our continent to other continent, and this will save our resources for our kids for future.
Great. Then finally, do you have any collaboration with any other university in Ghana?
In Ghana we have one. Cape West University.
University of Cape Coast?
Cape Coast University. We have a memorandum of understanding just signed last year, and now are working in the action plan to activate the process of collaboration.
Thank you very much, my studio guest. It's been wonderful having you discussing issues concerning higher education in the Northern African space. We are so grateful on behalf of the Secretary General. We thank you so much for spending your few minutes with us in the studio. And thank you, Ms. Nodumo, for sharing the vision of the association of the establishment of the Northern Regional Office. and we know that we will get back to you with other streams of segment as well.
Thank you, Kwesi.
Right. So viewers, this has been AAU Talk, and it's been the morning segment where we looked at higher education space in Northern Africa, and also the establishment of the AAU regional office in Cairo specifically will be hosted by Ain Shams University. And we had in the studio Dr. Sherif Mohamed Al-Kotb, and he is he's associate professor of physics and devices, and that he also doubles up as the director for project management, project development and innovation center. We also had Dr. Emara Tamer, who is also an associate professor of neurology at the Ain Shams University, and he also doubles up as the director for the virtual university hospital of the Ain Shams University. We also had Ms. Nodumo Dhlamini, and she is the director for ICT services and knowledge management here at the Association of African Universities. This has been AAU Talks. We have been looking at the higher education space in North Africa. Stay tuned for other segments. Thank you.